Right, welcome everyone. Dr. Mike Reed from Chiropractic Masters. Welcome to our Master Talk. I've got a good friend of mine, Sam Carlson. I met Sam a little while ago in Boise, Idaho. We were there for a ClickFunnels seminar, and Sam is a partner at 25th West Marketing. That's 25thwest.com. So Sam, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, hey Mike, appreciate it. Yeah, we met at Chad Woolner's MAP event, didn't we?
It was awesome because, I'm screaming at everybody. It's like ClickFunnels, get on ClickFunnels. This is the way to go. If you really want to make a really cool, professional, easy to use funnels. And now we have it for chiropractic, which is so awesome. I'm really jacked about that. And, Chad's such an awesome guy. We've become great friends, and Chad's speaking at Prosperity this year, which I'm excited about. And, you and I are getting to know each other. And, one thing I love about you, Sam, and this is what I tell a lot of people, that I think my best friends are those that share the same language in marketing, because you get it. You understand return on investment. You understand ways of using the internet to get the message out to the population. And it's from that it drives people into the practice. So that's why I'm excited to be talking to you tonight about, the ask method. And instead of giving away techniques, let's talk about some really cool ways of getting people in. And Sam, maybe just in a thumbnail, just give everybody an introduction to who you are and exactly what you do.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. So Sam Carlson, like Mike said, I'm with 25th West, and myself and my partner, Jacob Morris, we run a chiropractic-centric agency. Okay, that means we run traffic and lead generation campaigns for chiropractors specifically. We do have a couple other niches that we branch off into, but I'd say 95% of our clients are in the chiropractic space. And first and foremost, I'm a dad. I've got 4 kids. I'm married 16 years, and that's my favorite thing above all. In fact, I get to work from home, which is awesome. It's got its ups and its downs. Mike, I'm sure you know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm at my home office, but I have a chiropractic office. I get to work at it too, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you get the feeling that you want to work at 1 o'clock in the morning, you don't got to go very far. So
that's right.
So anyway, so that's great. And I've been an entrepreneur. I've never had a job. So I'm 39 years old now. No, I'm 38 years old. This is when you start forgetting stuff, maybe. I don't know, but. So I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and to me, I learned marketing a little bit different than it seems like a lot of people are learning marketing right now. I learned marketing in a very similar pathway that a lot of your docs, that your friends and your audience here are learning. I learned it because I needed it for my business to grow. And if it didn't grow, then I saw a direct result in the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so for me, marketing wasn't something that I could cut and paste, wasn't something that I could walk away from. It was something that had dire consequences if I didn't do it right. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cough right now. But so anyway, so we focus a lot on chiropractors, but we're also a little bit different in that we don't only use Facebook. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Facebook as much as the next guy. In fact, I've got a podcast on Facebook ads called the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, and it's downloaded frequently throughout the month, so it's a pretty cool podcast. Check it out. So I love Facebook, but we also stack in Google AdWords, YouTube, Instagram. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram are pretty much the same thing, and Bing. So we're able to make campaigns work on different platforms while still working together. So that's kind of a little bit who we are and why we're different in what we do.
And I love that you're chiropractic centric, which says you understand the chiropractic world. I know you work with Chad Woolner and you're successful in his practice. Let's talk about the ask method and why most lead generation campaigns kind of lose money, and why using that technique is actually superior, Sam. Because this is new for most doctors.
Yeah, the ask method. In fact, I create some slides, which I'll pull up here in just a minute. But the ask method is awesome. So what most digital marketers do is they lead in with an offer. Okay, they leave it, whether that's a consultation, the report of findings, and an adjustment for $21, something like that. That's a very common, there's a lot of buzz around that particular campaign right now, or some other type of campaign. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind a campaign. And as far as return on investment, there's ways to do that to where you can get a return on investment. But there was a book written by a very skilled marketer called named Ryan Levesque, and it was called the Ask Method. And what it is it's basically leading in, instead of with an offer, it's leading in with questions, with surveys. So anyway, I do have that. You want me to pull that up, or you want to go into Q&A, or what?
Yeah, no, let's just pull it up. Let's get right into that, because, it's a great book. I picked it up, and it's funny. I just started reading that because, when you see it 3 times, in your space, it's time to read it, right? So
that's exactly right. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't know something, or if you're concerned about your audience, just ask, So this entire thing is about, let's see if we can get this. There we go. So how to generate new patients, okay, without making free or discounted offers. Again, nothing against offers. We use them all the time in the agency, but we use them a little bit different than I think most agencies do, okay? So the number one way of doing what we talked about and what we've led up to is something called the Ask Method, okay? So the big question is, what's the Ask Method? I think we've kind of alluded to it. It's using different types of surveys to lead new and existing, so your cold and your warm audience towards your call to action, your conversion, all right? Now, so what we haven't talked about yet is why this works. Okay, this is actually really cool. And when I explain this, it's so practical and makes so much sense that you'll see. But at the top of the funnel, so that means to your cold audience, you have to have a way to engage them. Okay, if we're doing it with a funnel, why in the world would they care? We're not offering them a free massage or anything like that. Well, the first reason is because people like to see how they measure up. Okay, we all kind of want to know where we fit in. Whether that's with our problems or our accomplishments, it doesn't matter. If we have, if we get migraines all the time, we want to know how our migraines compare to other people's migraines, okay? So a survey that asks questions about migraines is going to appeal to us, okay? It's just our human nature. I'm not sure why, which leads into the next point. And as a doctor, Mike, I'm sure you're very familiar with this point. Discussing as people, okay? Discussing our problems is our favorite pastime. When you're doing an intake and you have, different symptoms and you ask them open-ended questions about that, how frequently do people just unload on you?
Oh, all the time, man. And you're a psychiatrist as well as a chiropractor. So
that's right.
Everybody understands that, yeah.
That's right. We're tapping into the human psychology is what we're doing. So with a survey, when you ask questions like this, and one of the surveys we do is called a deep dive survey. And the very first question is an open-ended question, meaning they can write as much as they want. And if you pinpoint that question just right, I tell you what, man, I've seen some some lengthy responses, and people will tell you pretty much anything you want to know. So anyway, it's wired into us, all right? Then the next thing is asking questions. That's actually the gateway. That's the door that leads us to the number one best conversion tool ever, and that's empathy. Okay? So simply by asking questions and giving a semblance of relevance to the person that has the problem, we're showing empathy. Okay? So have you had any experience? I mean, again, you're a doctor. I know that empathy is kind of, again, it's a required skill to be successful. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you're dealing with the right brain aspect of the person, the emotional side, right? And that's half the path to closure right there. That's
right. That's right. So anyway, I mean, there's the how, the what, the whatever, all that stuff. I mean, really, I want to know why surveys, why do they work? And this is the reason why they work. So I happen to have a real life example of a low back pain. So it was, I believe the ad was centered around bulging and or herniated discs in the low back. So low back pain, right? And this was an actual survey that I think averaged about 2 or so leads a day when we were running it. And so, and this is the information that people were giving. So on a scale from 1 to 10, rate the level of your daily pain, with 10 being the worst. And by the way, I never saw below an 8. Okay, on this campaign, you don't see 3s and 4s. People don't get on to not answer a 10 there. They want to say, I'm the worst. You've never seen any worse than me. Okay, it's almost like a badge of honor. Describe the type of pain. That was a drop down. It was sharp. Where's the pain? Legs. So I'm guessing it's it's sciatica pain included there. And what have you done? So all this information, we're gathering this in the form of lead. And down at the bottom where it says, what's your name? I've cut off, obviously, for privacy's sake, name, phone number, and email, but that was included in the lead. So, I mean, the real question is what would your business look like if you had leads like that? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's so much ammunition. And when you call and do that follow-up question, it gives you such a position of authority and so much information that they've already done, that if you follow up, I have this thing called the follow-up framework, that if you follow that script and that set of rules, man, I tell you what, not only does your lead quality blow through the roof, but your conversions will as well. So anyway, so my very favorite thing about leads, and you alluded to it earlier, is you do not have to touch your market the first time. You don't have to lead in with an offer. Now, notice I said you don't have to touch, like you don't have to lead with it. That's not to say that I don't think you shouldn't make an offer, okay? Because at the end of the day, our job is to get a person in the door and break even if we can. That's like the number one. If we can get them in and through our initial consult and at that point of contact, if we can break even, then through ascension, we should be able to convert that person and make money, make return on investment, right? So that kind of comes into the consulting, and I know the stuff that you teach is how to monetize and optimize the back end, right?
Right. So just to the doctors that are listening, what Sam's referring to is what we call indoctrination, where people sort of opt into you, they get to know and like you, and the ascension is really the offer. This is when they're coming into your practice. So
that's right.
Yeah, because we're talking marketing speak, which is kind of cool.
A little bit of marketing speak there. So just a little bit of a sidetrack here. Before I started marketing for chiropractors, I actually was a business consultant to chiropractors. That's kind of how I got into it. And the first thing we would do is we would optimize their patient value. So, I mean, patient value, usually when they start, they're sitting below $1,000. And the quickest way, the easiest way to help them, dig out of a hole and fix their business is to get that up above 1,500 to 2,000, and if you can do that. So we would teach them how to, move up what you and I call the value ladder, right? How to convert and how to optimize and how to, scale them, ascend them through so they stay longer and the value is more. So I have created a quick little overview of what, in a real world situation, what this looks like. Because the other good thing I like about this is it's extremely simple. Okay, we don't have to have a ton of crazy campaigns. So the first one, we just start out with a Facebook ad. Now, this looks simple. This is one block, right? But in essence, when we do a campaign, it's a little bit more complicated than this, but let's just keep it simple. The next thing we do is we take them to our survey page. Okay. Now, a little caveat here is we can also do lead campaigns or canvas campaigns, which basically removes an external site and just does everything on Facebook. Okay. So that's kind of like if you don't speak marketing speak, just forget what I said and just look at the diagram here. But if you do, then that's an alternative way of doing it. Okay. So we take them to the survey page. And then the next thing is taking them to, instead of a lot of people call this the thank you page. Okay. We don't do thank you pages. We do what are called ensure and reassure pages.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. So here is the deal. And I'm going to give you guys probably my biggest tip of the day, my biggest gold nugget is to understand what happens on the insure and reassure page. And let me just set the stage for 1 second. If you've had a quality of lead that you figure is low, like, hey, these leads don't show up, or they want everything for free, or if you've said things like that, it's because you focus so much on what happened before the opt-in and you slept on what happened after the opt-in. Okay? So if we make an offer or if we take people's information, it's always that, okay, I opted in, and then mentally, what's next? We shoot ourselves in the foot by just saying thank you, because you know what they think when we say thank you? They think it's over and it's done. They did the thing. They took the survey. They got the gift, whatever it is. They think they're finished. And so when we call them the next day, the reason they're surprised by that is because we didn't tell them what happened next. Okay? So if we're doing a survey, what happens on the insure and reassure page is really, really, really important. So what we like to do is we like to do an insure and reassure video. Okay? And it essentially says something like, hey, thank you so much for trusting us with your personal information. We're going to look over the responses to your questions, and somebody will reach out to you tomorrow. This is assuming that it's nighttime. And in the meantime, we just want to assure you that this is who we are. Okay? And in addition to this, we want to let you know who this is not for. That's important. When you say who this is not for, they automatically what? They want it for them to be for them.
You want to be so that's your takeaway there. I like that. That's
our takeaway. And so when we say this is not for people looking for a cheap adjustment, okay? This is not for people wanting a free massage, and that's it. Okay? When we do that, A, we let them know what's happening next, and B, we remove the tire kickers. Okay? And then below that, we actually do, Mike, how old are you, Mike?
I'm 53, man.
Hey, you look good for 53, brother.
I appreciate that.
So when I was in, junior high-ish, maybe a little bit younger, MTV Cribs started. You remember that show, MTV Cribs?
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole premise of MTV Cribs is a camera crew shows up, and they go through the front door, and they show you this cool house. Okay, well, the real premise, the real reason why they do this is to give glimpses and insights in a person's character and personality. Okay, so it's to bridge the gap of personality, because remember, we don't do B2C anymore, we're P2P. No business to consumer, it's person-to-person marketing now. Okay, and so when we do this MTV Cribs style video, we do a video of like somebody grabs their cell phone, you've got your fancy gimbal, right?
Right.
I say, hey, Mike, get on the gimbal and let's film me going through my clinic. And I go through and say, hey, that's Sally. She's the front desk gal. Sally, say hello. Sally says hello. And we go through and we just do a tour. We do an MTV Cribs tour of the clinic, and we let people into our personality, and we let people know that we're people, not a computer, not a website. Okay, so the insure reinsure page, I'll tell you what, if you're working with a marketer and they say thank you on your thank you page, what you now know as their insure and reassure page, then that's probably the first thing you got to fix. Okay, and by the way, hit me up if you have any questions. We can help you out.
I love that because I just created 2 funnels and I had thank you pages, and my wheels are spinning already. That hey, I can do this. I think that's really going to help with retention and conversion. So that's awesome, Sam. I love it.
Yeah, we put so much mental energy in figuring out how am I going to convert this person.
Yeah.
The opt-in is where it starts.
Makes so much sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, we have this cool thing we call the follow-up framework, which, by the way, I have a special gift for your listeners here, for everybody on here. I'll show that here in just a second. And by the way, like I said, I didn't say that you can't make an offer. In fact, you should. You should make an offer, but make it right here. Okay? Be generous. Be a person. Lend, if somebody comes in and, like, for example, that survey that we saw where the person had a 10, on the pain, and it was radiating down their leg, make them some kind of offer. like allow them to come in and give them a free consultation or something. There's the offer. I tell you what, you know how to make an offer. You got a business, and make them an offer. And that right there, the juice will always be worth the squeeze when you make it on that page. So
cool. Love it.
And that's all I got on this. I will go to the next slide, which is I do have a special gift for you guys. If you want to send an email to sam@25thwest.com, I've got this cool, and it's not just a PDF. Like it has a PDF and a video training together with it. This one thing right here will double your lead conversion, your lead contact rate. If your staff follows it, it's my free gift to the followers of Dr. Mike Reed. And yeah, hope you guys like that. sam@25thwest.com, and let me know what you think.
Yeah, sweet. That's awesome. I love it. And guys, just take advantage of Sam. It's rare. I get calls every week if people want to associate with me or get access to my list, but I vet all of these people. I'm working with Sam as well, coming up for Prosperity. He's been working with us to help promote it. And one thing I love about this guy, they know what they're doing. Both him and Jacob, they're an awesome bunch of guys, and they're just cool guys. They're not above anybody. If you're learning a new technique, they'll explain it to you. And it's all good for really building your practice. And they work with other chiropractors, which is phenomenal. So, hey, let's just open it up, guys. I'm going to open it up for some Q&A. If you guys have a question you want to ask, you can go ahead and ask. I'm just gonna open up the mic so you can just feel free to jump in. Just gonna unmute everybody here. It's a bunch of guys that are on, and this is gonna go into a recording as well. So if anyone here has a question and they want to ask Sam Carlson from 25th West, just go ahead and ask, guys. Your mics are now unmuted, so just feel free to ask. Let's see if I get that video on, because their videos are closed for some reason.
We got James and Greg, and we might have James and Greg 2 times.
Yeah, this is his twin, maybe.
That's right.
Hey, guys, any questions? Anything goes. You can ask Sam, preferably Sam versus myself. So your mics are open, guys. If you have a question, go ahead and ask. Or if you want to put it in the chat box, there's a chat box down below. You just type in your question there and ask there as well.
Where are you guys in practice, James, Greg? Where do you practice out of?
I'm in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yep.
You're not too far from me, James. I'm in Richmond, just above you.
About 2.5 hours.
Great.
Okay, very good. How long have you been in practice for?
23 years total.
All right, cool. What do you do currently for your marketing?
Well, that's a funny question. I have just purchased an additional practice, so I have an associate in one practice and myself and the previous owner in another practice. And we're looking for things that we can do to increase the number of folks coming through the 2 practices.
Okay.
So right now, we're just on the search for things.
Okay. Have you done any kind of online marketing in the past?
Not really, no.
Okay. When I first started with chiropractors, I worked with a doctor out of Washington, Sonny Gill. Do you know him, Mike?
No, I don't. No, I don't know Sonny.
He's a really great guy, amazing guy. Grew his practice 100% by doing workshops, screenings, and just at businesses. And so whenever I do what's called a marketing blueprint, I try and sit down with people and say, hey, what's your overall marketing strategy? Because I'm not a silver bullet, and I'm not a magic wand. We usually, and another example of that would be even on your prosperity event, we're working with, we'll be working with Phil Gibbs. He's an awesome guy. And we both work in traffic, but we work in different arenas. So I like to see what people are doing and how I can best complement that to get them to the next objective, to the next level. So what are you specifically, did you say you're starting a new clinic, or you just bought a new clinic?
I just bought a clinic that's been in existence for 35 years.
Okay. And are you renaming it, or are you just keeping the branding, or what are you doing there?
Keeping the same brand. The doctor that's here is extremely well known.
Okay. And he's staying on staff?
He's staying on staff about part-time starting next month. He'll be about 15 hours a week.
Okay. And what are you trying to do with it? Like the current production, you're trying to take it from where to where?
Well, I'm trying to basically start a practice within this practice. That's basically what I'm seeing is happening. So all the new patients are starting to see me. Anyone that has a flare up or anything like that sees me, and he's maintaining his maintenance base.
Okay. Okay. So he's kind of there just to make sure that we had a guy once that hired on an associate doc and then left to the Philippines.
Wow.
And, shocker, his practice went,
Oh, I bet it did. Well, the way it was meant to be, he was going to retire, but I think he enjoys the new clinic setting so much and the stress of not having to be over it that he decided to stay on. So we have an agreement.
One of the things because I've worked with doctors that have done a very similar thing before, and one of the things I think that you can do that's extremely successful is do an event. Mike, when Mike came up here to Boise, the MAP event, so Chad Woolner's event, the entire weekend was about doing epic events. Mm-hmm. And instead of, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, but one of the things you might want to do, an opportunity that some people see as, a weakness, is actually go out and say, hey, we're now taking on a new doc, we're taking on a new partner, we're excited for, other services that we're going to be providing, or whatever the case may be, and do like an actual launch, make an event out of it. And you bring his list, basically the existing list he has, because if you don't, what will happen, and what potentially could happen, is over time that could fizzle.
Sure.
People could come in and they'd be like, look, I don't know if the staff is changing, but it's not the same front desk gal, and it's not the same doctor helping me with this. And so to kind of bridge that gap, like get personal and do an event and say, hey, we're doing a free movie showing or whatever the case may be. That's a really good thing, a really good tactic and strategic thing to do if you're merging with another clinic.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a dynamite, like a movie night. You can do a wellness expo. You can do there's a gazillion different epic events you can do, and one every quarter would actually be prudent.
Yeah. You get a lot of new patients that way. Mike knows the sequence that you can do, and you can get a ton of new patients. In fact, there's a doctor that we just helped, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, and I think he got 20 new patients that night.
Got it.
So cool. He did well.
Thanks for it. Yep.
All right. Thanks, James. Greg, do you have a question?
What's that?
Does Greg have a question? I see Greg on here too.
Greg with 2 G's, actually 3 G's, triple G.
Triple G, man. So, hey, Sam, while Greg pops in here, one more time, how can they get a hold of you? Sam at 25thwest.com?
Yeah. So my email is sam@25thwest.com. If you email me, I'll definitely email you back. If you want to find out more about, what the company does and what we do, you can go to, it's an easy URL, 25thwest.com. We post our results. I think about once a month we're updating our results, and we don't do it the same way other people do it. We actually post our average number of clicks we generate on a weekly basis, our average conversion rates from each platform. So we actually post that in real time. I say real time. I mean, I think it gets updated about once a month, so people can actually come in. And the reason we do it that way is because there's a lot of sensationalism in marketing. A lot of people, I got a bajillion to 1 ROI. And it's like, well, you're either a fluke or you're lying. And most of them are lying, which is unfortunate. But for us, I say, hey, if a doctor can convert this much, he can go to that page and calculate exactly how much ROI he will make when he brings his business to 25th West.
All right, man, I love it, man. And that's what it's all about. It's about putting the dollars out there in your marketing efforts, monitoring return on investment, reinvesting back to the practice. And, I tell doctors too, it's not just about the new ones coming in. You got to be able to educate, convert, retain them, and then at the back end, keep them on wellness care. And that's really the magic ticket. So, hey, Sam, listen, man, this was an awesome half hour. Thanks for being on with me, brother. looking
Appreciate
forward to, to working with you for prosperity and for future events. And, for the doctors listening to us on the replay, guys, go check out the website. Sam's offered a free PDF, Sam at 25thwest.com. And, go download that and, just use this material. This is stuff that works. This is why we're working with Sam. So, Sam, thanks. Love and appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being on.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Great share tonight. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody. And just watch the next Master Talk, Power Talk, CA Call, guys, or the next webinar. Keep practicing with passion. We'll see you all soon.